puts on a show every time he gets a chance to touch the ball.
Now, on the defensive side, you got to like Mark Baumer. Here's another guy who's going to be called on to make a lot of hits tonight.
They look for him to be the leader on that defense, a 3-year starter on the inside, and the coach says, listen, if we're going to win this game, it's going to be a big hit that he puts on some of these running backs. So he's going to have to make some big hits on
Alfaro. Now, this guy's already committed to Penn State. They tell me that Adams the real deal.
He is the real deal, and I won't say anything because he's going to the Big Ten. But listen, when he gets the ball, watch out because he's a threat every time he touches the ball, especially coming from that wishbone attack. Look for him to make the big plays around the end.
And also, Adam Lashak is just a sophomore, but he leads the team in tackles.
He leads the team in tackles, and the coach says, listen, our defense is not that strong, but we have to put players in positions where they can make plays. He's a sophomore who's came up and said, Coach, I want to do the job, and he's in the middle, and he's making big plays.
Well, he's a leading tackler. We'll see how well he does tonight, but like we said, a lot of big implications on this one. You take a look at the Olympic Conference standings in the American Division of Eastern, a perfect 6-0, 4-0 in the league play. Washington Township right there along with Shawnee. Shawnee does have that one loss, so they need a big victory tonight if they're going to, A, stay in the hunt in the conference, and also have the power points when it comes time for playoffs. Well, we'll come back with the start of tonight's ball game. It's going to be a great one on CN8 with Eastern and Shawnee, so stay with us. Kickoff is just around the corner.
Thoroughbred racing at the Meadowlands continues every Tuesday through Saturday night until November 20th. Come out and enjoy great live thoroughbred racing in comfortable and entertaining surroundings. The Clubhouse Sports Bar and Grill, the Race World Teletheaters, smoke-free options accompanied by your favorite food and beverages. And for comfort and memorable dining experiences, enjoy franchises, terraces, and the Pegasus dining rooms. Simulcast action is also available 7 days a week at the nation's greatest simulcast center. Thoroughbred and harness excitement from around the world. As always, general admission is only $1 and parking free. For more information, call 201-THE-BIG-M or check out our website, thebigm.com. Make the Meadowlands Racetrack part of your plan for great weekend entertainment. What are you going to do tonight? Come on out to the Meadowlands Racetrack. Come on out to the Big M.
Welcome back to Eastern High School as we are set for high school football once again tonight on CN8 and a near capacity crowd. As a matter of fact, it'll be capacity by the time we get the kickoff as they're still filtering in through the parking lot. You know, this game has all the trimmings of #1 in South Jersey. Now let's tell you about the coaches that we're going to see here tonight. First off for Shawnee, Tim Gushu in his 17th season, a pretty gaudy 92, 58, and 6 record. Says he really has to concentrate on slowing down the running attack tonight. If they can do that, they'll be in good shape. They had a playoff win against Eastern just a year ago. Knocked them out of the playoff running. And the head coach for the Vikings of Eastern is Larry Ginsburg. Has the headset on right there in his 10th season, 64, 23, and 2. And he says, Jared, that he has a senior-laden team. It's either this year or maybe not for a while.
Well, he said he's had a few years of putting this team together, and he wants to look for some players to make some big plays. And they've started off with a great 6-0 start.
So Coach Ginsburg says this should be the year. And right now they are 6-0. The man to keep an eye on. We'll see if they kick it away from him. So Yates has it teed up. He's ready to go. And we're ready to go for high school football once again on CN8. There's the whistle, and this one is underway. Kind of pooches it. Going to keep it away from the speed burners. It's a live ball, and it goes out of bounds. There will be a flag. And Eastern can either accept the ball there at about the 30-yard line or make him re-kick.
You know, starting off this game already, they've already established that they are really going to respect Talaferro's speed and his ability to make a big play.
Well, there is number 18, Darrell Scott. Played wide receiver last year, they say, as a Division I prospect, and he's got good size at 6'3", 205. Ran for 2 touchdowns last week against Camden Catholic. And he has the chore running the offense here. They say he probably will go D1 at the next level, but as a wideout. But he gets a chance to be a quarterback here tonight, as he has all season long. 1st and 10. The ball spotted at about the 33-yard line. Talifero straight forward.
He puts the ball where Miles can catch it, drops it up over the linebackers, but you see, he knew he was going to get a hit. Miles catches the ball, brings it down. He's been playing very well, running the ball. Now you see he's catching the ball out of the backfield. Tackled by Williams again, the safety.
Play goes for 20 yards, and Miles is racking up the all-purpose yards tonight. 1st and 10, 30-yard line. Hand off to the first back throw. And it is Carter breaking tackles down the near sideline all the way to the 15. What a run by the fullback, Ed Carter.
What a run, what a run. And a good running back is contagious, and that's what you're seeing here in Carter, who's a fullback who doesn't get a chance to run it as much as Miles or Talifero, but he gets the tendencies of staying on his feet, and you see break tackles, always go forward.
Yeah, but when you carry out your fakes on the wishbone, too, that helps open up a lot of holes.
It opens up so much, but once you get hit by the first person, this is where you get contagious from the running backs who you've been playing with.
1st and 10, 15-yard line for Eastern. Hand off here, Talifero hits the hole, cuts it back inside, gets about 5 good yards, crosses the 10, mark him at about the 9. Well, Adam Talifero saw a little bit of a crack and cut it back inside behind the tackles. When you got guys like Justin Barton and Chris Kupchak, why not?
They all run so hard and with so much determination. They all play as a team. The running backs and the line, they just look at this as this is a team sport.
You say it was down to the 10, 2nd and 4 at the 10-yard line. Carter, the up man, in the wishbone. Hand off to Carter, stood up, going nowhere, and that time O'Connor wrapped him up first, and coming in a hurry to help finish him off was Joe Phillips. But O'Connor had him hit first.
O'Connor playing that inside linebacker position. You see him shooting the gap, unblocked because he shot the gap so quickly, getting his hands around that running back and boom, bringing him down. Kay is also in there on the play, so he's been all over. But right there, O'Connor just shooting the gap, not getting a chance, anybody getting a chance to block him. He just holds on and just brings him down in the backfield for a big loss.
Big play by O'Connor, and it's a big play here, 3rd and 5 at the 11-yard line. Ball in the middle of the field, hand off to Carter, straight forward. Cuts down to about the 5, and he'll be very close to a first down. Carter has enough for the first down. It's 1st and goal at the 5 for Eastern.
What they've decided to do is just go play power football, and that is hand the ball up to the backs and let them do their work right where they get the ball. And that's where you see Carter all night. He's been getting the ball up the middle and making big plays, make them happen. Not just because the holes are there, but he's breaking the holes and making people miss.
They mark it at the 4. Hand off here to Talifero, trying to bounce outside. Hit at the 5 and spun down. Nice job by Joe Phillips, the senior, to latch on to Talifero and not let him go.
Phillips making a big tackle, because if he doesn't make this tackle, Talifero is going around the side for a touchdown. Phillips coming up, grabbing, making sure he can't let go. He said, I can't let you go. You can't go that way. He's got to stop him before he gets in the end zone, and he does. Talifero, again, putting out that big forearm and that just trying to get his hands on the defensive back before he gets his hands on him.
2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. Talifero straight forward to the 2-1. Did he get in? Touchdown! And Eastern is a point away from tying up this ball game with 6:30 to play here in the 2nd quarter.
Power football. Hand the ball off to your running backs and make them make plays, and that's what's happening today. Talifero has had 6 touchdowns in the last 2 games alone. He just adds another one.
So Talifero, the scoring leader in South Jersey a year ago with 27 touchdowns, adds another one to his total. And on for the extra point is David Kruger. He's 1 for 1 so far tonight, trying to tie it up. The kick is on the way. Plenty of distance. It's good. We got a tie ball game. 14-all with 6:30 to play in the first half between Shawnee and Eastern. It's been a battle. We said it's for the battle of number 1 in South Jersey, and we haven't been disappointed so far tonight.
2 tough teams.
This has been a lot of fun to watch.
A lot of fun, and we're still in the 2nd quarter. And we've seen a lot.
Another look at the touchdown run.
We talked about the wishbone being two different types of wishbone, the power wishbone and the option wishbone. Here you got a great shot of the fullback and the front halfback just blocking. There's no option going on here. They're handing the ball up to the far running back, and he's following the two running backs who are lead blockers going in for a touchdown. It's power football.
Justin Glenn, the center, also got a piece of somebody leading the way into the end zone as well. So Adam Talaferro, who is quite an athlete, high jumps 6'7". Here he only had to go 6 yards to get in the end zone. 10 plays to go 64 yards. And Kruger's extra point ties it up. We are tied at 14 with 6:30 to play right here in the first half. David Kruger will be kicking this one away. Phillips and O'Connor. O'Connor the closest to you at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if I want that fullback handle the football, but they're going his way again. Well, this is going to be Phillips. Phillips at the 10-yard line. He has speed, breaks one tackle, cuts it back inside, still going all the way to the 35, and that's it. Great return from the 10 up to the 35-yard line by Joe Phillips. Hope you enjoy the action tonight on CN8. 6:22 to go in the first half. We're tied at 14. We'll be back in just a moment.
Weeknights on CN8, Family Talk connects you with the issues that are important to you and your family. Then after Family Talk,
then It's Your Call connects you with the top news stories. If you're hearing about it, we're talking about it. After It's Your Call,
then CN8 On Call connects you with a noted physician who takes your calls and gives you real answers you can use. Then after CN8 On Call,
then Sports Talk connects you with your games and your teams.
Weeknights on CN8.
Because we're connected
to you.
Is this a cool network or what?
Welcome back. Mick Moddinghoff and Jared Bunch with you tonight from Eastern High School. Man comes in motion, and the handoff goes to the fullback. That is O'Connor. Bounces off one, breaks another tackle, and goes all the way to the 45-yard line. Looking like Jared Bunch on that one.
He looked like who?
Jared Bunch.
Yes, absolutely. And you see the fullback, and he loves to get a shot and get his opportunity to run the ball. And this is why, because when he gets it, he does something with it. Bam! If you don't wrap him up, he will make more yards. And it's always how many yards you can get after the first hit. And you see O'Connor just getting underneath, keeping his legs moving, not going down with the first hit. And that's why he's back deep for kickoff returns. And it's why he's got a big touchdown in this game already.
Well, big measurement coming up here, Jared, as they'll stretch these chains out. If it's a first down, it'll be at the 45-yard line. And it's going to be right in front of the Eastern bench. The reaction ought to tell you, nope, first down. Not much joy over there. As it's a first down for Shawnee. First and 10, 45-yard line.
And when you can establish your fullback to run the ball and attack the middle like that, that opens up so much. Look for Eastern to start putting 8 men up.
Well, play action here, and the fullback this time is going to lose 5 yards. Well, you can only go there so often. And that time, Omar Miles was in on the play.
Absolutely, Miles coming in there. And Eastern, again, they're going with that 8-man front. That means 8 men, at least 8 men are within 5 yards of the ball. But what that does do is it opens up passing lanes and the outside. So
we're going to call it a 2nd and 11, loss of 1, back at the 44. 14-14, tie ball game, 5:16, clock moving here in the second quarter. Phillips goes in motion, straight show pass all the way as Hodge rolls down, dumps to the sideline, threw it away, incomplete. Any flag? No. Not a bad play by the quarterback. He saw nothing, and Hodge just decided to unload.
Actually, what Hodge did, it looked like he was calling that same play that they called in the first series, which was almost intercepted in that little screen pass to the wide receiver. And instead of coming close this time and throwing an interception, he kept it.
Tim Gushu gives the play to his quarterback. Hodge is a senior at 6'4", 216. He also is the only back over 200 pounds for Shawnee. So the quarterbacks go over 200 each way tonight, and none of the running backs will break the 200 mark on the scale. Phillips goes in motion. but they run the clock the other way to O'Connor, and he gets up close to the 48-yard line, that's all. Or I'll take that back. That is Adam Franks. Franks gets his first carry tonight.
Frank's getting his opportunity to do something up the middle, and that's where they think they found the weakness of Eastern, and that is right up the middle. Franks is only a sophomore, 147 pounds, but they really like what he can do, and they like the possibility of him being around for a while.
It's at the 47-yard line, and the kicking team is on. Anthony Morgan is the punter. And he'll set up shop at about the 32-yard line. There's Morgan. One man deep.
Oh.
And it goes off the side of his foot. It'll bounce and take a nice roll for Shawnee nonetheless. And it's down inside the 30 at about the 26-yard line. 4:08 to go here in this first half. We have a tie ball game with Shawnee and Eastern. Hope you're enjoying the action from South Jersey tonight on CN8. Stay with us.
This week on Health Matters, join host Steve Adubato in the battle against back pain. It affects 75 million Americans, but you can treat it or prevent it. Plus, listen up. Your kids may be at risk for hearing loss. And get the real facts about PMS. Join host Steve Adubato on the next Health Matters, Sunday night at 7:30, Tuesday at 6 p.m., and Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center on CN8.
Welcome back here to Eastern High School as the scoreboard tells the story. We're tied at 14. First and 10, 28-yard line, and here comes the handoff to Ed Carter, the fullback. And this time he gets up to the 30-yard line, gain of about 2 for Carter, and that's going to be all. I'll take that back, 35-yard line.
Carter, who they've been going to a little bit as of late in the last drive, who picked up really important yards inside. Running hard and tough with Miles, Carter, and Talaferro, all of them running very tough and hard tonight.
You know, we've seen the quarterback, Darrell Scott, carry the football a few times as well. Time ticking down, about 3.5 minutes to go in this first half. A very entertaining first half. A couple of long touchdowns and also a block punt helping Shawnee. Here's the quarterback option, the quarterback heat, and Darrell Scott takes it all the way up to midfield from the 35 to the 50, just like that.
Just like that, and you just talked about him being the quarterback who's the biggest guy out there and who has a few runs, and you watch why he's had those big runs is because of this. He's not afraid to get hit, and look, instead of him going down like a quarterback usually does, he decides to go over the defender or through him. You see him just jumps right over him, hurdle. But one thing, you got to keep that arm inside. You don't want to fall on him.
I know Talaferro was a high jumper, but I didn't know Scott was a hurdler. Here's the handoff, Talaferro. Where's the speed? Picking his hole, still going. Great vision. Gonna cut this one back. He could go 50 yards if he turns the corner. He's at the 10, the 5, and knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Adam Talaferro going about 47 yards to set up first and goal at the 3.
47 yards, and he made how many people miss? And it was just a straight trap block right up the middle, in between 2 tackles. And there he makes 1 person miss, 2 people miss, 3 people miss, and he's still on his feet. Another person, and here he comes, turning back, just turning on the speed, and he can't outrun
Joe Phillips.
Who brings him down at the 3-yard line.
Well, this ball game has seesawed back and forth. We're going to get a timeout taken by Eastern here. Oh, Shawnee's going to take the timeout, and I think I would too. Goal line unit has to come on here to defend with 2:50 to go. We're tied at 14.
And you see, there's the safety, Williams, who just goes for the bait. Talaferro makes him just, well, he makes him miss.
You're being kind.
And he makes them, and this is what you talk about when you talk about an athlete who can run and make people miss and just go for the goal line.
3.5 grade point average.
That's what, and he's a great student. That's what you love to see in an athlete, young student athlete.
And yet Joe Paterno wants to make him a D-back.
And he wants to make him a D-back. But actually, the way they're going now, players are playing both ways so much, and he's an athlete who can play both ways. So look for him to maybe start off as a DB. But that's not the end of his running back career, because he could play receiver or quarterback. He's such a talented athlete. And when, like you said, he has a 3.7 grade point average, so he can learn any position that he wants to.
Well, the tide has turned, and now it's a little quiet on the far side of the field for Tim Gushew and company at Shawnee. As AC Eastern trying to tie up the ball game. First and goal at the 3-yard line. Backs in the wishbone behind Darrell Scott. Handoff, Talifero to the 2, to the 1. Touchdown! He's in for the second time tonight, and Eastern has the lead back at 20-14 with 2:46 to play in the first half.
Just again, power football and give it to your big man. Talifero follows his blockers and makes people miss. Goes in for the touchdown. Second of the night.
Well, Viking fans like what they see, and the mascot there as well.
I wonder if he'll still be like that when it's cold outside.
I don't know. It was actually a pretty nice night tonight. David Kruger, 2 for 2 tonight. Salarizada on to hold this one. Placement down. Kick on the way by Kruger. It's good. 21-14. Eastern has the lead back at 21-14. And we have 2:46 to play here in the first half.
Here we again, they run the same play, wishbone, but it's a power wishbone, handing it off to Talifero, getting Carter to block, getting Fisher to block, and just letting Talifero make one person try to make the tackle. There's hat on hat, hat on hat. Talifero takes in the last and only remaining defender in for the touchdown.
Talifero in the end zone with a salute for the second time tonight. And Eastern has come back after trailing 14-7 to grab the lead here. 5 plays, 72-yard drive, and a 3-yard touchdown run.
You know, coming from Michigan, I'm glad he's going to play defensive back at Penn State. If he's not going to play running back, let him go to Penn State. If he wants to play running back, I'll call him up and say, listen, you got to take a look at this guy.
Well, Kruger has it teed up for another kickoff attempt tonight. And once again, Phillips and O'Connor are deep to return this kick. Shawnee had a 14-7 lead on the first play of the second quarter, but 2 straight touchdowns by Talifero gets the lead back for Eastern. Here comes Kruger. His kick, high end over end. O'Connor at the 11. Straight forward, puts his head down, bounces off one, and he will be over the 25 to the 26-yard line, and that's all for O'Connor. 2:39 to play in a first half that is nowhere near over. Not when either team can strike from long distance in just a few seconds. Well, we hear a heavyweight battle tonight, and we've seen it so far.
We've seen it so far, and it's still in the first half.
Chris Hodge, the quarterback, under center. Sends Chris Kay in motion. Hands off here to Tom O'Connor, still going across the 35 to the 36-yard line. About 9 good yards for O'Connor.
Nice run by O'Connor, and they just want to continue to drive the ball right up the middle. Let themselves crush the middle. They got to pick up big yards up the middle if they want to do anything, and O'Connor's a person who they really rely on to do that. And you see his jersey, he's just dirty.
Well, it looks like the quarterback, Chris Hodge, slow to get up. I'll take that back. 78. That is Dave Stewart, who's an offensive tackle. Well, we have a chance to tell you that Saturday afternoon on CN8, November the 6th, live at 12:30. You can join us for Ivy League football as Princeton takes on Penn. You can join Bob Wischusen and Billy Taylor for one of the biggest traditional rivalries around in New Jersey and Philadelphia area. It's one of the most historic, coming from Franklin Field, Penn and Princeton on CN8. And you can always check out our website at www.cn8.com to find out all the games and all the times on CN8. 2:32 to go, and Stewart is up and walking off gingerly under his own power. So Hodge still in at quarterback, has O'Connor behind him. with 2.5 minutes to play here in this first half. 2nd and 1 at the 39-yard line. Man in motion. Fake and a little reverse action, and that time Phillips is going nowhere. Well, all over him in a hurry was Greg Wren, coming up from the defensive end position.
Wren coming up, not being faked by anything in this, that they try to do here, and Wren comes up and makes a great tackle for a loss on Phillips. Just playing good, tough, hard defense from that defensive end spot. Wren just powering his way. See, at 223 pounds, he's just a powerful play.
2nd and long here. The 2nd and about 15 coming up. So now that everything's straightened out, 1:45 of the clock moving. Eastern leads this game by a score of 21-14. Phillips hit hard, going nowhere, and stopped in his tracks.
And that's the other big person that Eastern really looks to control the line of scrimmage, and that's Justin Barton. And that's why at 320 pounds, he's a person that you cannot miss on a football field. And this is why he takes up so much room and so many people have to block him just to get inside. You see he stands over the pile. 6'7", 320 pounds.
The two halfbacks don't even equal the 320 pounds of Justin Barton. So Shawnee really got to put a hat on him to move him out of the way. 3rd and 16 coming up. With 54 seconds to go here in this first half. Hayes in motion. Back to throw is Hodge. He's going to load up, throw the screen pass to the fullback, complete, but not much happening there as there's a host of blue shirts all around Tom O'Connor, and it doesn't go for much at all.
Not much at all. Eastern just playing tough defense, making sure they know it's a passing situation. They just set back. You see Hodge looking downfield. Nothing's open. He goes to his fullback in the flat. Only picks up 2 or 3 yards because Eastern is right around him. 4 and 5, 6 players in on the tackle.
Our director, Pete Vukovic, says, where did the tearaway jerseys go? We've had about 5 jersey tackles tonight, and these jerseys are staying on.
Absolutely. We have seen a lot of jersey tackling. That's because you got players who are big-time athletes, very good athletes who make people miss. And defensively, they just want to get their hands on you and try to hold on until somebody else can come and make a hit.
4th and 20 with 36 seconds to go for Shawnee. And Shawnee trails this ball game to Eastern 21-14 as the school board tells the story now with just 36 seconds to go in a half. And a 4th down play coming up here. Puts a lot of pressure on the punter, Anthony Morgan, who has to kick this football away.
You got it. And they come out with a very particular style punt. It is not like a normal punt formation. They line up 3 fullbacks and gaps in between the tackle and the guard.
So Morgan on for the punt. Talifero is deep. See if it's a good snap. It is. Here comes the rush. Morgan gets away a real nice kick, and Talifero will watch it go out of bounds. I believe they're going to mark it at about the 45-yard line. So not a bad punt by Morgan at all. And now with 28 seconds to go, there's probably time for maybe 2 good plays.
Well, with the Eastern offense, it only takes 1 good play for a touchdown.
Eastern has 1 timeout. And with 28 seconds to go, we'll see what Coach Ginsburg has up his sleeve. Darrell Scott, the quarterback. They've already thrown deep once to Sharp tonight. See if they do it again. Back show pass all the way. They're loading up. This ball is in and out of the hands of Sharp. Incomplete. Well, they would have had a pretty good reception at the 35 if he could have hung on, but Kari Sharp couldn't come down with it.
Sharp, he didn't hold on to that ball because of this. Wham!
Joe Phillips.
Phillips is there to make a big hit, and that's what when there's short time, and you know you're going to take a hit right before the halftime. You start to get what's called alligator arms.
He didn't have alligator arms. He went up, he had his hands on the football, he just didn't come down with it. Alligator arms when you pull them back and you don't even try to catch it. And you know what I'm talking about. Not that you ever had alligator arms. 2nd and 10. Oh, a little shovel pass inside. There's a flag on the play, and Talaferro is upended. You know, we heard that Coach Ginsburg says, yeah, we passed the ball, but more like on the option toss variety. That was that little shovel pass straight forward, but holding on the offensive line is going to negate it. You're accusing a young man of having alligator arms. I'm ashamed of
you only have 20 seconds left, you know you're about to go in halftime anyway. There's no need to take the hit.
No.
But you know what? The big reason that they can throw the ball now is because they're so effective running the ball. And with 20 seconds left, they can throw something up. And if you do happen to not catch the ball, the coach is not going to say anything because we're going in with a big lead anyway.
You're tough. Holding on the offense. 15 seconds to go here in this first half. You can't take it back. Once you said it, you said it.
Exactly. So I have to try to support.
Jim Gray on me.
I have to support. I have to support it.
3 wideouts to the near side with 3 seconds to go. Will they get this play off in time? Yes, they will, and they hand off. And it is Carter straight forward, across midfield, still going to the 47-yard line, and that will do it. And a nice run by Carter, the fullback, for the first half.
Very nice run.
21-14 as Eastern leads Shawnee. They trailed at one point in the first half, but Talaferro's 2 touchdowns have brought them back. We've had a great first half of football. We'll be back to recap it in just a moment, so stay with us on CNA. Hi, I'm Mick Mottinghoff, and this week on Scholastic Sports Weekly, you'll meet a girls field hockey team in Northwest New Jersey that's looking for gold in November. You'll also meet a young man in the Philadelphia Catholic League who excels both on the field and in the classroom. And also, a South Jersey girls soccer team is vying for another state title. You'll see all that and more tonight at 7 p.m. exclusively on CNA. It's our weekly look at the top athletes, coaches, and teams in Philadelphia and New Jersey. So join me for Scholastic Sports Weekly.
Can the Republicans take back the mayor's office in Philadelphia? Who'll control the New Jersey Assembly? Find out Tuesday night at 8 with CNH Campaign 99 election coverage. Join host Lynn Doyle and her team of political analysts as they give you up-to-the-minute results. We'll be on location with field reports, in the studio taking your calls, and letting you know how your vote will impact the future. CNH Campaign 99, award-winning election coverage that's connected to you. Tuesday, election night at 8 o'clock.
Welcome back here to Eastern High School. We're at halftime where the score is 21-14 with the Vikings out front of the Shawnee Renegades. And right now the Eastern High School marching band entertain the fans at halftime. It's time to take a look now at our first half highlights, and we have a lot of them, so let's get right to it. Omar Miles starts things off with a 46-yard touchdown run to put his team up 7-0.
46-yard touchdown run because he just broke through and nobody was there. Just a dive right, and he turned on the speed, goes in for a quick 6.
Well, Shawnee answers with Tom O'Connor, a fullback, going 56 yards for a score of his own.
And what a fullback he is. Right up the middle, gets great blocks by Kay and his offensive lineman, just a trap up the middle. He goes virtually untouched for 59 yards.
That makes the score 7-7, but still a lot happening in the first quarter because after a drive that stalled out, Eastern had to punt, and Nick Soriano is Johnny on the spot to block it away.
What a great play, special teams play right off the end, comes and makes the big block, blocks the punt, big play, big sudden change.
Leads to a Chris K 5-yard touchdown run. Puts Shawnee out front by the score of 14-7. That was the first play of the second quarter, but that's when Adam Talaferro stepped it up. He took one in from 5 yards out.
Talaferro showing how much he is a valuable player and just running hard all day long, getting this opportunity to get in for his first touchdown of the day.
But the next drive had the best run of the night by Talaferro, as after a 47-yard run, he caps it off with a 3-yard jaunt to the end zone.
Caps it off. Looks like the exact same play he scored on earlier, just a power play, getting big block from Fisher and Carter as the lead blockers, and he goes in for another touchdown.
21-14 here at the half. Let's take a look at our first half stats, and it's been all Eastern, from passing yards to rushing yards to total yards, 275 to 81. Well, that says it all. And look at the first downs, 9-2. Like we said, it's been all Vikings in the first half.
All Vikings in the first half, and big plays. They've been playing solid defense, playing very good offense. Offensively, they're running the ball very effectively, inside, outside, and making big plays. Defensively, they're controlling what they want to do.
So that's where we stand right now at 21-14 at the half. Hope you're enjoying this battle of heavyweights here in South Jersey tonight. Shawnee at 5-1 coming in, and Eastern trying to stay undefeated at 6-0. We'll come back with second half action in a moment, so stay with us on CN8.
This week on Health Matters, join host Steve Autobato for expert advice on the sandwich generation. Those of us who take care of mom, dad, and our own kids, plus helping overweight children shed the pounds and exercising while you're pregnant. Join host Steve Autobato on the next Health Matters, Sunday night at 7:30, Tuesday at 6 p.m., and Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center on CN8.
And now, a lesson on the ABCs of TV. If you get DTV, DirecTV, there's a whole alphabet you might not get, like ABC, CBS, NBC, and FOX. You might not get those networks with DirecTV. Sounds like you need CDC, Comcast, digital cable. All the networks, including local channels, twice the movies, no equipment to buy, and less than $10 more a month. So, practice your alphabet and dial 1-800-COMCAST and upgrade to Comcast digital cable.
Back here at Eastern High School in Voorhees, New Jersey, we're ready for the start of the third quarter, and Shawnee had a lead in this ball game, but 2 touchdowns for Eastern have them out front by the count of 21-14. Eastern is in blue and Shawnee in white tonight, and hope you're enjoying all the action here on CN8. Mick Monaghan and Jared Bunch with you this evening. Been a very entertaining first half. I don't see things slowing down as David Krug is ready to approach the ball and put it in play here for the third quarter. His kick will be taken by Tom O'Connor at the 15. O'Connor cutting it back in the middle of the field up to the 25-yard line. Not a bad return of about 10 yards for O'Connor. First and 10 at the 25.
Not a bad return, not a bad start. They get the ball open up this quarter, this half, and they're coming from fresh legs of the rest of the halftime break. Look for them to start off and get something going right off the bat.
Well, Chris Hodge has to get the passing game cranked up. 0 for 3 in the first half. And he carried the football once, and he will run O'Connor straight forward. The ball came loose, and they say Eastern has the football with big number 77, Justin Barton, falls on the football.
There you see Big Barton. We talked about him earlier, 6'7", 320s. There's a handoff again, right up the middle to O'Connor. He breaks that first tackle, but right there, he drops the ball, can't get to it, and Big Barton jumps on it. And this is not what they wanted to come out and start off doing. Down by 7 with the ball, opening drive to turn it over. Sudden change will kill you in a close game like this.
First and 10. And the ball at the 25-yard line, and this is Carter carrying for about 5 yards. Not a bad play as Tom O'Connor was on the stop, but Carter getting things cranked up for head coach Larry Ginsburg and company as his team leads with 21-14.
You know, talking to Coach Ginsburg earlier, he said, listen, he's very excited about this year. We talked about that. His seniors lead the team in every category.
Fullback ride here. They give to Carter once again. He's at the 10-yard line. That's more than enough for the first down for Carter.
So it looks like what Eastern is coming out and doing is they're going to establish their fullback and running the ball in between the tackles. And Carter was a great inside runner. We've seen that earlier. He broke a lot of tackles. And when we talk about being contagious, when you play in the backfield with a big-time running back like Talaferro, who's very talented, some of his moves just start to slide up on you.
First and goal. The ball spotted right on the 10-yard line. Quarterback keep on the option toss, and Talaferro stood up for no gain. Well, earlier tonight, head coach Larry Ginsburg told us he'd had no trouble having his team fired up for this one.
Right, of course, we think that this could possibly be for the conference championship. If we win this game, you know, of course, a lot has to do with the Washington Township game. They're playing Triton. If they were to lose and if we were to win, we would be champions. If they win and then, you know, we would have to hope for them to lose their last ball game. So it's a very important game. This is a championship game as far as we're concerned.
Second and goal at the 10. They give the Carter, who's trying to bounce outside to the 3, 2, 1, touchdown! Ed Carter. Well, Coach Ginsburg said he had his team fired up. They've come out fired up here in his second half. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's already 27-14.
And they give the ball to Carter, the fullback. You see, they've established him early in this game in the first half, giving him the ball inside. And he showed the coach that he can run the ball and make people miss and break tackles and stay on his feet. Great run up the middle. Nothing special except for the ability of the running back.
David Kruger on for his 4th extra point of the night. A.J. Salarizada is the holder. Kruger's been a perfect 3 for 3. Here is his kick, high enough, long enough, and certainly good enough.
So just like that.
28-14.
That man right there puts his team up. Another touchdown.
Another look at his touchdown run.
Nothing special about it. Just a handoff to Carter, just a straight fullback dive, and you see he just makes people miss right off the bat. Making the first person miss, never going down with that first hit, which is so important. And once he gets in the backfield, defensive backfield, he just walks in for the touchdown.
So Carter into the end zone from 10 yards out makes it 28-14. 4 plays to go, 24 yards after the fumble recovery. So the first turnover of the night turns into positive points for Eastern and Company. And Carter's in the end zone, officially from 11 yards out.
Sudden changes, and that's something that Shawnee did not want to come out and start the second half with, and that is a sudden change to give him the ball back right away.
Well, Kruger's going to tee it up. Once again, you have Phillips, number 4, and O'Connor, 29, back to receive this kick. And I was talking to some people during halftime, Jared, and they told me that they think that Eastern is a second-half team. Well, they've already come out and put 7 on the board here, and we have 10 minutes to play on the clock in the third quarter. That is 3 straight touchdowns now unanswered by the Vikings.
Well, they show that they want to come out, and lots of times people or teams come out and play that second half better than the first half because the adjustments are made. They realize that they're in the game and they just want to go out and just have fun and play football. Eastern is that type of team.
Talifero making the adjustment to hold on the kickoff as it wouldn't settle down on the tee, and this is O'Connor at the 15. O'Connor to the 20, to the near sideline, finds a little lane, turns the corner, still going to midfield, and crosses the 40, puts his shoulder down, and hello, Mr. Talifero.
Hello, Mr. Talifero, but O'Connor is playing that deep back on the return team and gets a great return, not just because he followed his blockers, but because he turned on his speed, stayed in bounds, made people miss, and this, what you love to see, make the person miss. Boom, he looks like Larry Zonk in that white uniform, that old Miami Dolphins uniform is dirty. If that 2 was a 3, it looked like 39. He just runs down. Look, every part of his body is just dirty. He's just running hard and tough, and he makes the person pay for it when they come to make a tackle.
1st and 10 at the 40, about a 50-yard return. Here's a pass on play action, first down, looking for Phillips, incomplete. Any flags? No. Good coverage that time by Ted Goins.
Goins right there to play great defense, because if he's not there, it's a touchdown. Great defensive play by Goins to stop that big play. And he's playing that strong safety position, so he has to cover the run and the pass.
We said Hodge had to crank up the passing game, and he saw single coverage, and it was pretty good coverage that time by Goins because Phillips did get behind him, but he had to reach around and knock it away. 2nd and 10, 40-yard line, and they will run just off right tackle.
Try to power play, or what they usually call a student body right. That means just line up 3 or 4 people to the right, pitch it to the one person in the backfield, and let them just follow all the blockers.
And that was O'Connor. Sets up a 3rd and 4. And the ball is at the 35-yard line. O'Connor's been busy tonight.
He has been busy.
He's just a junior. He'll be back for another year. 9:05 and the clock moving. As Shawnee finds themselves trailing by 2 scores, it's 28-14. Phillips goes in motion. Show pass all the way, complete to Phillips out of the backfield, but I don't know if he has the first down or not.
It's mighty close.
I think that's the first completion to the night by Hodge. It is.
Mighty close, and Phillips, who's really usually featured as a running back, right now they're just trying to get him the ball any way they can. Great catch right on the line, possibly a first down. Nice concentration to hold on to that ball and go for the first down.
They're short by just about half of the length of the football. Goins was all over him, and somehow he still came down with a catch.
Great defensive coverage by Goins and great catch and concentration by Phillips.
So it sets up a 4th and 1. The ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. Have to go about 2 inches for a first down. Quarterback sneak territory, if you ask me. Hodge has the ball set, takes it himself, easily has the first down as he gets about 2 yards. So the drive stays alive, and that is just the 3rd first down of the night
for Shawnee.
For Shawnee and Coach Tim Gushew and company.
You know, Hodge, they call that a quarterback sneak, but Hodge, who's the biggest back on the team, pretty much is just a running play, a dive play for a running back.
1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. This time, Kay comes in motion. They hand off to Phillips, stood up, and still drives pretty good leg drive and picks up about 3 tough yards. Phillips was hit at the line and somehow kind of squirted underneath before Greg Wren made the tackle.
Wren, who's been playing that defensive end spot and been playing it tough, made some tackles for losses in the first half, and he's come out the second half playing tough again. They're trying to go to his side, and he's like, I'm not having it. Basically, that's almost 4 plays out of the 5 that they run to that right side.
Larry Ginsburg, hands on his knees, watching his defense, trying to shore up a drive here by Shawnee that started after a great kickoff return by O'Connor. Play action fake, and the quarterback rolls and throws, has a man open, complete, and it's out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. That time they found Mark Palmer, the tight end, who will set up a 1st and goal at about the 2.
Palmer making that great catch, playing both ways. And watch, this is why this play is successful, is because of the offensive line blocking up front. Nobody getting through, no pressure on the quarterback, and you see everybody making a good block, giving the quarterback time, Hodge time, before he gets hit to get that ball away. Gets it away, gets a reception, but he takes a hit for it, he gets up.
1st and goal, 2-yard line for Shawnee. They're down by 2 scores, but plenty of time here as they send Phillips in motion. Phillips takes the handoff, knifes it in for the touchdown. Joe Phillips caps off the drive, and he's into the end zone, and we have a ball game again. 7:24 to go, and now with the extra point pending, Shawnee is down by just 7.
Down by just 7, and it looks like Shawnee has found something on that right side. They've run the ball consistently to the right side that entire drive. If they pass the ball, they roll the quarterback to that side. So halftime, their halftime adjustments obviously have said, listen, we're going to run the ball to the right or pass to the right.
Great drive after the kickoff return by O'Connor, and Yates' extra point is no good. So it's an 8-point differential,
which could be important. How many times have you seen extra points be so crucial in a game this close when it always goes back and forth, touchdown for touchdown?
28-20 as the extra point by Yates comes up a little bit wide left. But still an impressive drive, but it was all capped off by that opening touchdown, or the kickoff return, but there is Phillips.
And you see that there was just what a surge on that right side, just a surge. Phillips wasn't even touched until he got to a defensive back being blocked by Franks. So the offensive line can be commended for that.
3-yard run for Phillips, 7 plays to go, 40 yards. Like I said, it was O'Connor's kickoff return. that made that drive so short. So there's Phillips, who finds the end zone for the first time tonight. One of the featured backs in the backfield for Shawnee, and the Renegades are back, but they're down by 8 after missing the extra point. We'll see if Yates is a little bit juiced after missing the extra point and drives this one deep. 3 across: Singleton, Talifero, and Omar Miles. So Yates has it teed up. Kind of a low squib. It's a live football, and it's going to be covered quickly as Smothers touched the football, Pat Smothers, and then he turned around and just fell on it. That's a pretty wise thing to do.
Pretty smart play. They're up by 7 points. They're still in third quarter. Just let things relax, get their offense back in there. They've had very much success offensively. Let your offense come out and play football.
1st and 10 at the 24-yard line for the quarterback, Darrell Scott, who in the first half was 2 of 4 for 51 yards. Carried 5 times for another 26. Didn't play a bad first half at all. Here, fakes, and here's the option toss. It is Omar Miles, stood up and going down. Good coverage on the outside that time as Miles never turned the corner. And that time the inside linebacker, the senior Mark Bomber, was on the stop.
Big Bomber, who they're looking to be the leader on that defense again, who had the big reception on tight end as a tight end spot, this time making a big play from his inside linebacker position.
Held up to a gain of 1. Well, we heard Bomber's going to make big hits. That was a pretty good one there. And if you can hold them on this drive and force a punt, then you're right back in the ball game for Shawnee. 6:40 and the clock moving. And the quarterback will keep. He's in the secondary and going down. Bomber in on the stop again, and that time the quarterback, Darrell Scott, almost ran him over.
Almost ran him over, and he really set that play up. Good tackle by Nardi, saving a touchdown.
So that will set up 1st and 10 after the run by the quarterback. Ball's at the 36-yard line. Handoff here to Talifero, who's trying to get outside to the left. Bounces off one, and a host of white jerseys will bring him down. So Talifero tries to get outside, and that time it was Joe Phillips who was on the stop.
Talifero's starting off today with he has great vision. He's already got 80 yards, middle of the third quarter. Just smooth. His running style is so smooth. He's got speed, he's got balance.
Ball's at the 44-yard line. Give him another 7 after that run. Handoff here, Talifero straight forward, crosses to 50 into the secondary, still going, trying to bounce outside, but cuts it back in. Had probably more room if he goes right, but saw a little hole when he crosses the 30, and he's down at the 34-yard line.
We just talked about how talented he is. You see, these are plays that he's making on himself. You see, he's making people miss, and he's never going down with the first person who hits him. That is what makes a good running back good. Not going down with that first hit. This is a simple play. It's just a 21, they call it. Running back taking a dive up the middle. Making people miss and not always looking for the out of bounds to run for. He stays inside, runs inside with his shoulders down low.
1st and 10, 34-yard line. Eastern is driving again. Here is Carter, straight forward on the dive, carrying the pile all the way to the 25-yard line, and he almost has another first down.
And what a powerful run that was for Carter. And I talked about contagiousness, and when I say contagiousness, that's when a running back sees another running back in his backfield with him who runs hard, who you want to run like. And you see here Carter just dragging Bomber, who's a big player himself. Fullback trap up the middle, nice block by the lineman. You see Big Barton trying to get him another person to block, and Carter just taking it.
Well, water break. We'll take one as well. We'll come back in just a moment. 28-20, Eastern leads Shawnee.
Important people.
We interview quite a few of them on Comcast Newsmakers.
Governors, senators, mayors, members of Congress, and council members.
We talk to the leaders of public service groups.
We find out what they're doing for us and our communities.
But best of all,
you find out too.
Because when it comes to important people,
the most important person to Comcast Newsmakers
is you.
Newsmakers is brought to you by Carrier Foundation. We help you put the pieces back together.
Welcome back. 4:42 to go in the third quarter. Eastern leads it by 8, and they're driving once again. They have a 2nd and 1 at the 24-yard line, and Talaferro already has 109 yards in this ball game, and we still have 4:42 to play here in the third. Two-step drop and a quick look. They have a man open, and this goes for a touchdown.
Pretty. How pretty that play was.
Karee Sharp over the shoulder catch for 6.
Very nice. That play was just well developed. Perfect on all points from the quarterback's position, running back carrying out his fake, and Sharp ending it off with a nice catch over his shoulder in the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, it comes right after the timeout as well. Head coach Larry Ginsburg and his offensive coordinator Dave Spatal found something they liked and went right to the pass after the timeout, 24 yards for a touchdown. And Kruger, who was a perfect 4 for 4, is on for another extra point. And this one is a little low snap. And the quick toss is intercepted right at the goal line. So Salarizada had a chance to throw the football tonight, and it gets picked off by Chris Nardi.
How important being able to run the ball effectively.
Well, the score remains 34-20 after the missed extra point. And A.J. Salarizada had a chance to throw the football here, but really didn't have a receiver, Jared.
Didn't have a receiver. When you have a mixed up or a mess up on the extra point, what you want to call is fire, fire, fire. That means all eligible receivers try to get out and get open.
Now here's a 24-yard touchdown pass as Darryl Scott goes upstairs to Sharp.
Nice play action pass, just a 3-step drop, and the quarterback, Scott, gets the ball right where Sharp can catch it, right over his left outside shoulder, just a 3-step drop and get the ball up. Fade route for Sharp. He beats the receiver, makes a nice catch, looks into the stands.
Well, if you like scoring, we've had a lot of it tonight, as Sharp has the touchdown reception, his first touchdown of the night. 24-yard reception, 6 plays to go 66 yards, and it's 34-20 as now each team has missed an extra point opportunity. But we have had the last 3 possessions for each team go for 6.
They're gonna.
Well, the ball is not even on a tee, Jared, as Kruger has it kind of
like
squibbed
Big
up.
Barton is going to kick it.
Barton's going to pooch this one, and it will roll out of bounds, and there's a flag. So I don't know what that was all about. I guess they wanted Barton to test his kickoff skills.
His kicking skills and show how.
And unfortunately, with that flag, he's not going to grade out very well.
Athletically. That, I'm curious about that. I have no idea what that was about. I don't know.
And neither do I.
I kicked off in high school, though.
Did you really?
No, I didn't. Maybe once or twice. I can't remember. I don't know.
I heard about your team in Ohio.
Oh.
0-8.
0-10.
0-10.
Yes.
That's worse than I thought. 1st and 10. After the 5-yard penalty, and this is Phillips into the secondary, crosses the 40 up to the 43-yard line. Not a bad run by Phillips. You know, we still have plenty of time left, and Shawnee by no means is out of this game at 34-20. We know they can score at will, just as Eastern can. I think it's going to come down to if they can mount a little bit of comeback, who has the ball last.
Who has the ball last is what it might come down to, because we have 2 great offensive weapons on the field at any time.
After the run by Phillips, we're looking at a 2nd and 2. Hand off here to the fullback, hits the hole hard, and got back to the line of scrimmage. That's all for Tom O'Connor. So Bill Mongan, number 63, a senior, on the stop, as O'Connor never got started. And it sets up a 3rd down and 2.
Look at O'Connor, who's got 80 yards and a touchdown from his fullback position. You can tell he's a workhorse because everybody else has those white uniforms, but not him.
Connor looks a little messy out there. Got a sub into the ball game. One of the first times tonight we've seen Walter Alt use the wide out, that clean white uniform at the top of the screen. See if they go his way. No. It's the option, and the quarterback will keep it himself. Cuts it inside across the 50 for the first down is Chris Hodge. Well, the senior on the option saw the hole, and he took it himself for the first down.
Nice run by Hodge, who we talked about being the biggest of the backs on the field for Shawnee.
That's up a 1st and 10 with 2:56 to go here in this third quarter. The ball across midfield at the 48-yard line. Toss goes to O'Connor, finds a little hole, and he is down after about a yard gain. That's it. 2:40 and the clock moving here in this third quarter. It's 34-20, but I think we're a long way from being done. Eastern leads it over Shawnee. Eastern is 6-0 coming into this one, and Shawnee at 5-1. Both coaches were telling us that a win tonight would give you about 13 power points and probably lock off a state playoff berth tonight. Play action fake, and they're going deep. He's looking for Phillips over the shoulder catch. Makes it. He's going in.
Oh, what a nice catch by Phillips over his shoulder, adjusting to the football and making a great catch. Like you just said, Mick, this game is not over. We got two powerful offensive weapons on either side of the ball, either team. They can score at any time, and Joe Phillips, coming out of that halfback position, breaking into the backfield of the defense, catching that pass over his shoulder, going in for a touchdown.
48-yard touchdown reception for Joe Phillips. With 2:06 to go, it's now 34-26. And on for the extra point is Chad Williams. See if they go for one or two here. The placement down. The kick by Williams is on the way, and this one is good. So with the extra point, it's now 34-27. And like I said, Shawnee is back. They're not very far away, and there's still 2:06 to go in the third quarter.
Third quarter, just a beautiful play, beautiful adjustment by Phillips, who's coming out of the backfield, lining up at the split out. Hodge throws the ball up, and Phillips adjusts his body to catch the ball over his inside shoulder and goes in for a touchdown. Goins, who's been playing very good and tight defense all night, he was there. There was a great play. It was a great pass and a great adjustment to the ball.
Well, Shawnee coach Tim Gushu told us before the ball game his team would be fired up, and the comeback is on. No doubt about it.
Because Eastern does so many things so well, one of the things they force you to do on defense is play assignment football. Run the wishbone and all the different options they have, as well as their athleticism at the skill positions. It makes you be very disciplined on defense. So that was something we really stressed in practice this week. From an offensive perspective, they run a great 4-3 defense. They do a great job with their secondary, and we want to make sure we get those linebackers blocked, because in the 4-3, that's something that's really important.
Well, they did get behind the secondary that time on that 48-yard touchdown pass to Phillips. Here is the kickoff, and this one will be taken back at about the 10-yard line by Talaferro. Taking his time, picking his hole, coming to the near sideline, sidesteps one, still going, now up to the 40, and knocked out of bounds, I believe, finally at about the 41. What a return by Talaferro.
What a return. And, when Eastern gets this ball, what they want to do is they just want to play tough, continue to keep rolling like they have been. Now, Shawnee kicked the ball and let Talaferro get it on that one, because they would say, listen, we're playing tough. We think we can stop them. Let's prove to our entire team that we can just play football and not kick away from anybody.
6 plays to go 65 yards and a 46-yard touchdown pass to Phillips. Talaferro will carry here on first down. And he's brought down by Chris Kay. 1:42 to go here in the third quarter. And after the gain of 4, it sets up a 2nd and 6. Oh, hands on hips for Coach Larry Ginsburg, watching his top back. go over 100 yards tonight, but they're a long way from the finish at 34-27. Eastern the lead in the ball in the final 1:18 of the third quarter. Carter takes the handoff, bounces off one, maybe two, and that's it as he stopped at the 49-yard line.
Stopped at the 49-yard line, but he was hit much earlier, and that's why he picked up. That's why they keep giving him the ball, because he doesn't go down with that first hit.
Need a big defensive stop to Shawnee right here to get the football back to start this fourth quarter. If they can force a punt, and I don't think Eastern has punted the football.
If they can stop them this time, they will feel very powered up, and you might even see that momentum switch to Shawnee's side.
In fact, I think the only punt attempt was the one that got blocked. 3rd and 2 here. Talaferro, first down and more into the secondary, trying to bounce outside, has a man on his back, and finally riding him down was the linebacker, Matt Guerin. But not before Talaferro gets the first down.
Talaferro making his own presence felt. This is the same play that he ran to make 2 touchdowns on. It's just a power play, lining up in the wishbone, 2 lead backs, 1 running back. Talaferro making the blocks, making the run behind the blocks.
1st and 10, 37-yard line. Carter, the lead man in the wishbone. Behind Scott, linebackers show blitz. They hand off. No, they fake it. It is the quarterback keeping himself, and Darryl Scott has pretty good yardage for about 8 good yards as he carries to the 30-yard line.
Williams, that safety, coming up and making that tackle. And, you know, sometimes you don't like to see a safety making so many tackles. That means that they're breaking through the defensive line and linebackers.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. 34-27, Eastern over Shawnee, but we have 12 minutes to go. Buckle up. We'll come back in just a moment.
Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hey, Bruce, 2 quick questions for you. There's no reason this team shouldn't be good. That was a big play.
I agree.
Hey, Bruce, have you ever seen a better play? Power. That's what he's all about. Pure power.
Al, what's going on?
How you doing? How you doing, Bruce? I think this team's good enough to win the whole thing. That was some game last night. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it with my own eyes.
Let's go to the phones.
Welcome back for the start of the fourth quarter. Nick Mollinghoff and Jared Bunch. 34-27. Eastern leads Shawnee. And the cheerleaders here at Eastern throwing those mini footballs in the stands, and why not? Time to celebrate. Their team leads a very important game. Here is Omar Miles into the secondary. A first down and more for Omar Miles. That's one of his first carries of the second half. Has been pretty much Talaferro, who's already up over 128. But here Miles gets a chance, and he has a first down.
Nice play by Miles, who had that earlier. He ran for a touchdown, 56 yards. But here, another running back that they have who's just very powerful and can run and make people miss in the middle. Following his blockers like a good running back does, and just keeping that good balance, carrying the ball safely so it doesn't fumble, picking up positive yards.
Call it the 17-yard line where it's 1st and 10. Linebackers show blitz. It's an option toss to Miles, who gets on the corner. Jersey tackle won't bring him down. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 10. So Miles is knocked out of bounds by Matt Guerin. Nardi helped push him out as well.
Now, let me tell you something. Miles, you see, just running the option this time, and Miles getting the pitch, not going down with the first person who gets their hands on him right there, and he just breaks that tackle and tries to get outside. Guerin, who puts the last smack on him. But Miles is a very tough runner himself. He's got somebody dragging, holding on to him. He picks up an extra 5 yards.
2nd and 3 at the 9-yard line for Eastern. And it is Talaferro to the 5, still going to the 3, to the 1, touchdown! Talaferro in the end zone for the 3rd time tonight. And that is the 5th straight touchdown by an offensive unit.
Just a powerful offensive unit on both sides, but Talaferro this time going in for another touchdown. And this offense, this Eastern Viking offense is just, it almost reminds you of the Minnesota Vikings. They have so many weapons that they can put up so many points so quickly. But their running backs are something special. Not just one, but all three of them.
Kruger's on for the extra point. He has been perfect tonight. Taliaferro has 3 scores, and Jared, since the third quarter started, now we're in the fourth, the defense on either team has been unable to stop the other team's offense. The placement down. That kick is on the way, and it's good. Almost blocked, but somehow Kruger got it off, and he splits the uprights, and it's now 41-27. But we still have 11-16 to play. We're not done yet. So 3 touchdowns tonight for Taliaferro. And you're finding out why he was the leading scorer last year here in southern New Jersey. Another look at the touchdown run here.
Touchdown run. They run the same play. This is a power play to the left side, which they've scored 2 touchdowns to the right side on earlier tonight. Just a power play, hand the ball off to Taliaferro, get good blocking by Miles and Carter. Just follow your blockers and run and hold on to the ball and get into the end zone. And when you have backs, 3 good backs like Carter, Miles, Taliaferro, you can do so many things. You don't have to pass the ball when you can run as well as this offensive unit is doing tonight.
7 plays to go 59 yards. And Taliaferro, the 9-yard run, has his 3rd of the night. Time for a little break for him. 41-27 is 68 total points. And like I say, we still have 11-16 to play in the 4th quarter. We're a long way from being done.
Long way.
Well, there is O'Connor, but joining him deep right now is Adam Franks. So Phillips getting a little break after that touchdown reception, and the ball is set up for a squib again by Justin Barton. So squib this football taken by one of the upbacks. Matter of fact, I think that is O'Connor going down the sideline and finally brought down across the 40. Well, the kicker makes the tackle. That was Chris Kay on the return. So when you get a guy like Kay, who's a starting tailback, who can move up and put hands on the football, I don't think it behooves you to squib to a guy like that.
I don't think that's what they had in common. It's very obvious that they're going to squib kick the ball. They don't want to give the deep men any opportunity to make a big play, and they misread this particular play, which picks up big yards.
1st and 10 at the 37. They only have to go 37 yards, and O'Connor just might get there here. He's on the outside and finally brought down at the 20-yard line. Wow.
What offense we are seeing tonight, both sides, this powerful. I mean, this is what you love to see. A fullback who has a white uniform, who starts the game with a white uniform, but when you look at him now, it just looks like he's just brown. You don't know what color jersey, what color pants he has, because he's been playing hard, tough, running hard, making people tackle him. He hasn't been going down easy at all. He's almost over 100 yards tonight.
He's definitely getting close to the century mark, no doubt about that. 1st and 10, the ball at the 20-yard line. They're in the red zone again, and it's a little reverse, and this is still going up the middle, and finally it is Joe Phillips. Joe Phillips for the carry there.
Phillips coming back with the reverse. Just coming off that big reception for a touchdown.
Gain of about 8 on the play, and you'll see the reverse here as Goins kind of got in the way, but he's finally brought down from behind. That was a big fake. Man in motion. Handoff goes fake to the fullback, and the quarterback will dive forward behind the left guard. So Chris Hodge keeps the football, and he grinds it down to about the 10-yard line. Now that is close to a 1st down. It is. The question is it on the 10 or just outside? Looks like it's just inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal at the 10-yard line for Shawnee. 41-27, a touchdown puts them right back in it. Just inside the 10-yard line, so it's 1st and goal from about 10 yards out for Shawnee. O'Connor and Phillips in the backfield behind Hodge. Man in motion. Hodge hands off to to Adam Franks, and Franks is down inside the 5. Great surge by Adam Franks to drive the legs and pick up some positive yards.
Franks, those fresh legs coming in the game in the fourth quarter, you can tell by his uniform, he's just white. Uniform's white, hasn't been on the ground yet. They're bringing in fresh legs, and he comes in. Franks keeping his head down, holding on to the ball, not going down with the first hit, and almost going in for a touchdown.
That extra lean got him down to the 2-yard line where it's 2nd and goal. Hodge under center, may take it himself here. He will. Hodge to the end zone. Did he get in? There it is, touchdown.
And the signal's a touchdown.
So Hodge is in, and once again, since the 3rd quarter started, every offensive possession results in a touchdown.
Results in a touchdown, and that's indicative of good halftime adjustments offensively. When you go in at halftime, you make adjustments. You go in for the whole during the practice weeks. You know what you want to do. You don't know how you're going to execute it until you actually get on the field. Both teams at halftime have obviously done their homework, and they've adjusted very well.
On for the extra point. The kick is on the way. This one is good by Chad Williams, and the points continue to pile up on the scoreboard. 41-34 with 8:47 to play, and we're not done yet. Hope you're enjoying the shootout tonight on CN8 between Eastern and Shawnee. Right now, the Vikings have the upper hand, but like I say, we're not done yet. Stay with us.
Oh, ever hear of a tune-up? Some people, yeah, they let their cars, their trucks, their buses spew pollution right in our faces. And do they care? They do not. It's a problem, but New Jersey is doing something about it. Cute kid. Yeah, that new emissions inspection program from Clean Air New Jersey is sure gonna help reduce harmful pollutants in the air. Other states are doing it too. Hey, clean air is better for your kids and mine. Clean Air New Jersey.
Welcome back, and here's a look at the quarterback sneak for the touchdown, Jared.
Just a quarterback sneak, and we talked about the quarterback here and Hodge being the biggest of the backs on the team. So when he runs the quarterback sneak, actually he's running a halfback or fullback dive. And with those big offensive linemen he has up in front of him, Guerin and Vine and Lindquist, they all just power their way in for a touchdown.
Hard to keep track of this one. 5 plays, 37 yards, 2-yard touchdown run by the quarterback. That's his first touchdown of the night for the quarterback, Hodge. Joe Yates has it teed up. We saw him take a 2-yard sneak before. It was a pretty good call that time as well.
No flags in Notre Dame here, please.
Well, you might get a short pooch. It's a live football. It's loose on the ground. Who's got it? Eastern has the football. So Eastern has the ball. 8:45. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Just a pooch kick, and what they really want to do is just pop that ball up high enough where the front line doesn't think that it's going to be an onside kick. Let it hit on the ground and let your kickoff team just go for the ball.
If you like points, this is the place to be. 8:45 to go in a 41-34 game. Eastern has the ball and the lead, and here's Talafero hitting the backfield, tackled for a loss. Will a defensive team step up? Well, there's the first play, and the first hit's a pretty good one as it's made by Chris Tercey.
Tercey, who was actually a starter, he's a sophomore. He was starting early on, and the coach thought that they wanted to get some more veterans in the play. He's coming in, fresh legs, you can tell by his white uniform, but he makes a great play, stopping Talafero before he could do anything.
Ball spotted back at about the 37-yard line, where it is 2nd down and 13 from the wishbone. Here's the option toss. Talafero trying to turn the corner on the right. Burst of speed down the sideline. He's still going. And now he's in the secondary with just one man to beat. And it is Chad Williams who makes the touchdown saving tackle. Chad Williams knocks him down or he's gone.
Chad Williams making that game-saving, possibly a game-saving tackle. He definitely saved it from going in for a touchdown. And Talaferro taking that option, which we haven't seen earlier today because they've been so successful running inside. But when you're successful inside, fake it to the fullback and pitch it to the person coming around the outside, which is Talaferro. And once he has the ball on the outside, he turns on that speed. He's shown that he can run inside. Now he's showing speed to carry the ball outside.
First and goal, 10-yard line for Talaferro and company. And the handoff goes to Talaferro, and he puts his head down and gets to about the 6. And that is it. That time, Chris Kay brought him down. But Talaferro has, kind of turned things up. He was at 128. Now he's at that 199, count what he just got. So the 199 yards, his next carry will put him over. Got to keep track of that. 2nd and 7. Tim Gushu just kind of shaking his head on the far side. Neither defensive team has stepped up here in the second half. But an all-offensive show. Talaferro, single setback. Quarterback option, and that is it. Scott kept it himself. And I think he's down inside the 5. They're going to spot it at about the 3.
Picks it up, and what you see here is with no fake, there's no fake to the fullback on this option, which means that there's a lot of defensive players who can go for the quarterback right away.
3rd and goal at the 3, Jared. And, what do you call here?
Well, the way this offense has been running, doesn't matter what you run, because if you don't score on this play, you might score on the next play anyway.
You're absolutely right. They spread the 3 backs out. Man in motion. Scott keeps him himself to the goal line. Is he in? Players say touchdown. Referee doesn't say yet. No, they're marking him at about the 1. 4th and goal at the 1 for Eastern. Can the Shawnee defense step up? I think this might come down to it right here.
Just another quarterback sneak, and Scott trying to get the ball over the line. You see, they just push and push and push. That's probably why they call them down, is because you can't push from behind. You can't push a running back from behind while he's being tackled that close to the end zone.
4th and goal at the 1. Defense almost jumped off. The quarterback is stood up, but they say he broke the plane for the touchdown. Scott in the end zone, breaks the plane with 5:47 to go. And will that be enough to win the ball game tonight?
How many is that? 5 or 6 touchdowns in successions. Constant touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. Both teams scoring back and forth, back and forth. Scott now going in for the touchdown.
That's the 7th consecutive touchdown by an offensive unit in the second half. So Scott's in from a yard out. 47 to 34. David Kruger on for the extra point. The placement down. The kick is on the way, and this one is good. 48-34 as Kruger hits the extra point. Time for a little break for Darrell Scott. It looked like he got it on 3rd down, but it was a little bit harder on the 4th down try, but he still broke the plane.
Breaks the plane is because of those big offensive linemen just getting low, and Scott staying right behind him, trying to make sure he breaks the plane so that the referee can call a touchdown. You see, they just getting low. You saw Shawnee almost coming through, breaking through, but it was to no avail. Scott breaks the plane, goes in for a touchdown.
1-yard run, 7 plays to go 59 yards. I don't like this pooch kick stuff. Each offensive unit has only gone about 60 yards on any drive here in the second half, it seems like. Kick the ball, make them take an 80-yard drive.
Well, you see, you heard me say last time on the kickoff, no visions of Notre Dame, and it was a game between Michigan and Notre Dame that we played. It was going like this, back and forth, back and forth. We were told all week not to kick it to this guy named Raheem Ishmael. And we were playing very well, and the coaches got, they said, listen, we're playing tough, kick the ball deep. And what does he do? Returns 2 touchdowns off the kickoff.
Well, the rest was history. Eastern running backs have rushed for 426 yards tonight. And that's been maybe the difference in the ball game. This ball picked up on the far sideline, and the return only comes out to about the 35-yard line, 34. That's it. So Shawnee has the ball. 5:42 to play. The seesaw continues to go back and forth, but it was the halftime advantage of 21-14. It had that little cushion for Eastern. And they've been able to keep pace with Shawnee in the second half. 48-34. Handoff is going deep here to Phillips. He's in the secondary, finally brought down as he crosses the 30-yard line. What a run by Phillips.
What a run by Phillips. He's been all over the field playing offense, defense, catching passes out of the backfield. And here a power play. This is what has been so successful for both teams. Running straight ahead, up the middle, breaking tackles, not going down with the first hit. And this right here, making so much effort downfield. And that is why we've seen so much good offense tonight.
One play, and Shawnee is close to the red zone. They're at the 31-yard line where it's 1st and 10. There's a little reverse flea flicker.
And he's wide open.
The quarterback, they got a man over the middle. It's underthrown, incomplete. It was the tight end.
Wide.
It was wide open, Chris Nardi.
Nardi was wide open. They called a little reverse. You see one reverse, 2 reverses. Instead, pitches it back to Hodge, who throws a wobbly pass. If he throws that ball with the spiral and gets some air underneath it, it's a touchdown. But watch this run, going back to the run of Phillips, who's been very active tonight, breaking so many tackles. That first person who hits him never has brought him down tonight.
2nd and 10, 31-yard line. Tim Gushue reaching into the bag of tricks on that last one. Here's a handoff to the fullback, O'Connor, straight forward, and he will be close to the 25-yard line. But you only have to go back to last year's game with Overbrook in the Group 4 final that Shawnee lost, but in that ball game, they needed a crucial first down, did Shawnee, and they ran a fake punt to get it. Kept a drive alive and scored in the final minutes of that game. So see if Coach Gushue has any other tricks up his sleeve. So after the run by O'Connor, sets up a 3rd and 5. And this ball is right on the 25-yard line. One wide out at the bottom of the screen, play action fake, and they're rolling that way to the right. Hodge loads up, completes it at about the 13-yard line, and a diving catch by Chris Kay, who came out of the backfield.
Coming out of the backfield, and you can tell who's been playing all night long. You see Kay coming across, making the catch in traffic, coming up, making a big play. Hodge puts the ball right where he needs to put it. 4 defenders standing around. Kay makes the catch.
Maybe the most important thing here is it's 1st and 10 at the 13, so they can get a first down at the 3. Counter here, reverse, and it is Kay, I believe, who has stood up and dropped right about the line of scrimmage.
And there's a sophomore, Lessig, making the tackle. Only a sophomore, and the coaches didn't know what they were going to get at that middle linebacker position. And Lessig said, listen, give me a shot. And he's been the starter all year long. Only a sophomore in the middle of that defense calling the plays.
Shawnee calls timeout. We'll take one as well. 3:41 to go. 48-34. Eastern leads Shawnee. We'll come back in just a moment on CN8, so stay with us.
Can the Republicans take back the mayor's office in Philadelphia? Who'll control the New Jersey Assembly? Find out Tuesday night at 8 with CNH's Campaign 99 election coverage. Join host Lynn Doyle and her team of political analysts as they give you up-to-the-minute results. We'll be on location with field reports, in the studio taking your calls, and letting you know how your vote will impact the future. CN8 Campaign 99, award-winning election coverage that's connected to you. Tuesday, election night at 8 o'clock.
Still plenty of time left. 3:41 to play in the ball game. And Eastern leads 48-34 over Shawnee, but the important number is 2nd and 11 for Shawnee at the 16-yard line for quarterback Chris Hodge and company, as they're not that far away from punching it in, and they'd still get the chance to get a football back, but about 3 minutes to play if they recover an onside kick. 2nd and 11, straight drop pass made pattern. This one is tipped and incomplete.
Incomplete, almost intercepted. Hodge, who's been very effective running the ball, and this time he just throws the ball up, and there's 4 defenders standing around. So many. Scott almost coming up with the interception. So many defenders just standing around, and Scott putting a hand up. If he goes for the ball with 2 hands, he might get it, but you see bounce, tip drill, and he still almost comes up with the interception.
Well, that shows that Shawnee doesn't really pass the football that much, because if you're going to throw fade pattern on Darrell Scott, you really want to try to throw it to the back of the end zone, so if it's overthrown, it goes out. Nobody can intercept it.
Absolutely. It goes out of the end zone.
3rd and 11. Show pass all the way and a 3-step drop. Now here's the fade pattern. Deep in the corner. It's
he comes up with the catch.
Chris Kay.
Kay, who's been a mainstay offensively and defensively, comes out with a big catch, because he was not wide open. He had 3 people around him. And Scott, who just broke up the last play, being one of them.
Jared, what did I say back in about the 3rd quarter? The team with a football last will probably win the game.
Probably win the game, and that seems to be coming true right now.
48-40 with a point pending. Chad Williams on for the extra point. The holder is Walter Alt. The kick is on the way, and this one is good. 48-41. 48-41. 3:28 on the clock, and already the people in the press box here are thinking, well, a touchdown gives them 6, and they need an extra point to win. Do you go for 2, or do you try for overtime? We got a long way to go to think about that. Watch the touchdown kick.
We just talked about the fade route, and we said throw it deep, and he throws the ball in the middle of the end zone, and Kay just makes a great catch in between 3 defenders. Brown is there, Scott is there, and another player, Regan, is there, and he catches it in between the 3 of them. 3 of them standing right there, and one person comes up with the ball, and that's Kay.
Unbelievable. 7 plays, 66 yards, and now comes the all-important, what I think is an onside kick coming up here.
Now you got to ask yourself here, if you kick the onside kick, the way the offenses have both been running the ball up and down the field, do you want to kick it deep, or do you want to?
Well, if you can recover it, you'll score. That's what the second half has been.
Exactly.
The offense has the ball, they score. So the team that recovers this kick is going to score.
Absolutely.
So you got to recover the onside kick. 3:28 to go. Talifero is deep, just in case. It's kicked. It goes 10 yards, and Eastern falls on the football at about the 46-yard line. Ball on the football, and that is Khalil Fisher, who maybe comes up with the biggest kickoff recovery tonight.
Well, defensive coordinator Brian Anderson has got his work cut out for him right now. He's got 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. They stop him here, they got to get the ball back. And Coach Anderson said, listen, all week they've been practicing on staying at home, making sure you get the tackle, read your man.
Tim Gushu is hoping for a turnover here.
Coach Gushu there is saying, listen, now we've done some good practice. Strip the football.
This is Miles spinning away. He's in the secondary. He's going past Williams, and Miles is going to go for the touchdown.
Unbelievable how many powerful and potent backs these guys have. This is Miles' second long run, second long touchdown of the day, and it wasn't untouched this time. He did not go down with the first hit.
Well, Miles started with a
59-yard touchdown.
That was a
46-yard
touchdown. This time he ends up with a touchdown of over 50 yards at 54.
So with 2 plays, he's at 100 yards. Two rushes, 100 yards, just with those 2 plays alone.
And I guess the game's going to end the same way it started, with Omar Miles going 40-plus yards on a touchdown run. Kruger on for an extra point. I don't know how many he's kicked tonight. It's 54-41 with 3:11 to go. I think he's only missed one on a fire drill. This one's down, the kick on the way, and this one is good. Well, Kruger's had just about as many extra points tonight as I think he's had all season. And it's now 55-41. Unbelievable.
55-41.
Now, this is a lot of fun. If you like offensive football, you have seen the game of the year on CNA tonight. Another look at the touchdown, Jared.
Another look at the touchdown, and what they run is the same play, this time letting Miles be the back to run the ball instead of not the lead back, and this is why he scored the touchdown. All three runners of Eastern, they do not go down with the first person who hits them. And once they break into the backfield or defensive backfield, they have the speed to go the distance. What you have with this Viking team is tough runners, good instincts, good coaching, and very disciplined players.
Miles with 140 yards rushing, 54-yard touchdown run, one play to go those 54 yards, 55-41. And this is a game for the record books, as we have seen 96 total points tonight.
And it's not over with.
No,
yet.
it's not. There's still 3:11 to play. You're right.
Now they're going to kick it deep. They kick it deep. Look for a big play on the kickoff return.
You just might see it. This kick coming down. It is Tom O'Connor, and the ball is on the ground, and I think Eastern has it.
It's another big play. Sudden change. Sudden change. They could not, Shawnee could not afford to give up the ball right then and there on that kickoff.
Well, another look at the fumble recovery here is O'Connor, maybe just trying to do a little too much.
O'Connor trying to make something happen, running hard in the middle. Someone comes from behind and couldn't get a number. Ball comes loose. Here's another angle at him. O'Connor just gets that ball coming loose because of the right hand just coming through, swiping it. Lawrence Taylor developed that. Swipe the ball with your right hand if you're tackling with the left.
Eastern has the football, 1st and 10. And Carter will carry for a few yards. Jared, since the third quarter, 9 straight touchdowns for each offense tonight. 9 possessions, 9 touchdowns.
9 touchdowns, and Eastern having the ball inside or close to another touchdown.
Ball resting on the 25-yard line, where it's 2nd and 5 on the 25. After the run by Carter. Here is Talifero breaking one tackle down the sideline, gets to about the 11, and he is shoved out. No, they're going to say he's still in and keep the clock moving.
They keep the clock moving, but this offense is so potent and it has been effective in so many different ways. Running the ball up the middle, running a power run like this right here with the running back following his blockers, 2 lead blockers, and just letting them run.
Talifero with 3 touchdowns tonight. Yeah.
Here's another angle at it. 2 blockers in front, Carter and Fisher blocking, lead blockers. Talifero following his blockers, making the first person, always making the first person miss.
1st and 10. Here is Miles trying to get outside, looking for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Is he going to get it? Yes, he will.
Let me tell you something about these running backs. Let me tell you something about. We talk about Talifero, but Miles is sitting behind Talifero as a player. If you, he's not a starter. He didn't start this game. Fisher started at one halfback, Talifero at the other, and Carter at the fullback. Miles comes in and rushes for 3 touchdowns and shows that if he's at any other high school, he's the star running back.
Probably. Omar Miles with a big night tonight. 3rd touchdown run. He now has 10 carries for 153 yards. And who's on for the extra point? It's David Kruger. Placement down. Kick on the way. I think they got a piece of this one, and it is no good. but still with the touchdown. It is now 61-41, and the century mark has been broken. I think this is the highest scoring high school football game I have ever seen.
And it's still entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. 102 total points scored tonight.
Held only here on CNA Sports.
Yeah, but you know what? We still have a 141 to play. We're not done yet.
Here's Miles. Like I said, this guy didn't even start the game, but he comes in, he rushes for 3 touchdowns, this being his third, making that first person miss. And here, this is what's really special, running between 2 defenders, and not just any 2 defenders, but Bomber, who's their leading tackler, as one of them. Right here, coming up, Bomber trying to make a big hit on him. He runs right through that tackle and goes in for a touchdown.
Well, it's slightly over 15 yards to carry when you think about 10 carries, 153 yards. And now on the ground tonight, Eastern has rushed for 509 yards. 4 plays to go, 29 in this particular drive, and a 13-yard touchdown run for Miles.
Well, when you think about the wishbone, you think about Oklahoma and Nebraska, and when they used to always put up 500 yards of rushing, this is why. You look at a high school team who starts off with that wishbone and just runs everything off of it. They pick up so many yards. They don't have to pass the ball because they can run.
Franks is deep for the kick, along with Tom O'Connor. And this game was close at one point at 48-41. Now it's 61-41. And here is the kick. Well, it bounces right to Adam Franks. He's close to the 35, 36-yard line. Not a bad return by Franks for his first and 10 at the 36 for Shawnee with 1:39 to play. You know what? I don't care who says what defense didn't show up tonight. I think that each offensive unit knew that they had to score points coming into this one. That was the mindset. And we've seen 2 offensive powerhouse teams. Anytime you get a team that's 5-1 and 6-0, you know that they're geared up to score points.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've seen here tonight. Handoff goes to Kay, who's still going across midfield, and Kay is all the way to the 46-yard line. So Chris Kay continuing to have a big night. And he had one of the major plays tonight with that nice touchdown catch among 3 people.
Kay's been playing tough all night, offense and defensively. Here it's just that, again, a double reverse. Last time they threw that pass play off of this, but here Kay keeps the ball on the inside, double reverse, and this is what you like to see in a big receiver who plays in the backfield also, and that is running the ball hard downfield, and you like to see his entire jersey and uniform dirty.
Is the quarterback. Hodge flushed out here from behind, and he will let this one go. It's knocked down incomplete, and I don't think they got the Hodge once tonight. Now, he hasn't attempted that many passes, but still he knows to get rid of the football, and that's what a good quarterback has to do, and he feels the heat here.
Feeling the heat, bearing down on him, just coming right down. Carney ready to throw a hit on him, and before he can get a hit, Kupchak comes to make a smack on him, gets his jersey dirty a little bit.
54 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. 46-yard line for Shawnee. And this heavyweight fight has gone right down to the wire. And when he made the touchdown reception late in the ball game to make it 48-41, you say, well, maybe if Shawnee gets the onside kick. Well, Eastern recovered that kick. Miles took it in from 54 yards out. Then after a fumble, Miles from 13 yards out, and that puts the lid on it tonight. Well, Jared.
Yes?
We've seen a lot of great players here tonight, and who knows who's going to go on to the next level, because there have been a long line of history of great players in South Jersey who have gone on. Willie Flipper Anderson, Deron Cherry, Andre Collins. Look at the running backs. Franco Harris, Floyd Level, Todd McNair, and you know, the list goes on and on. Guys like Lydell Mitchell, Mike Rozier, John Taylor, great one with the 49ers, Tony Saka, Kevin Ross, and with the Temple. I'll tell you, great players from South Jersey. And who knows, maybe we'll see a couple more coming out of this ball game tonight.
Who knows? And And when you look at players, high school players who play at this level, and you see how advanced they are compared to what they were years ago, because the defensive players have also become advanced, but the offensive players have become faster, stronger. They have more moves. They can have better balance. Another thing is they can see a lot of players like, Barry Sanders and Smith, see them play.
Pick things up along the way, no doubt about it.
And pick things up on the way.
Here is Phillips into the secondary, bouncing off one and brought down at the 30-yard line. 44 seconds to go, and Phillips has a first down at the 31.
Phillips, who's, I love to see these running backs on both teams carry the ball in the middle and make people miss and not go down with the first person who hits them. That is so important to be known as a person who you have to put a hat on him. You have to cover him up. You got to put more than one hit on him before him to go down.
Hand off here to O'Connor. He's in the secondary, making people miss again, and he is down at the 15-yard line. With 15 seconds to go, another first down will stop the clock just long enough to move the chains after the first down run by O'Connor.
O'Connor, the fullback, who's had a lot of success up the middle tonight. Touchdowns and running people over just like he just did there. Give him the ball again. Let him go in and run somebody else over.
O'Connor gets to the 10-yard line. The clock at 2-1, and that will do it. The final of this one tonight, 61-41. Eastern over Shawnee. Eastern is now 7-0. Shawnee goes to 5-2.
Both teams played very tough, very well. Neither one of the teams should hold their heads down. They should both hold their heads up high because they played against two quality offenses. And the defenses played well enough, as well as they could against those potent offenses.
And for the victory tonight, going at 7-0, Eastern has to look forward to Overbrook next week, the Group 4 champ in South Jersey. It just doesn't get any easier.
Doesn't get any easier, but New Jersey football.
I'll tell you what, very entertaining game tonight. 102 points scored, and at one point this ball game was 48-41 in the later stages of the fourth quarter. But Eastern had just a little too much tonight, as they have two backs who scored 3 touchdowns each, Talaferro and also Omar Miles. Well, stick around for the post-game show. Should be a lot of fun. Who knows how many highlights we'll see. We'll come back in just a moment, so stay with us here from Voorhees, New Jersey on CNN.
Thoroughbred racing at the Meadowlands continues every Tuesday through Saturday night until November 20th. Come out and enjoy great live thoroughbred racing in comfortable and entertaining surroundings. The Clubhouse Sports Bar and Grill, the Race World Teletheaters, smoke-free options accompanied by your favorite food and beverages. And for comfort and memorable dining experiences, enjoy franchises, terraces, and the Pegasus dining rooms. Simulcast action is also available 7 days a week at the nation's greatest simulcast center. Thoroughbred and harness excitement from around the world. As always, general admission is only $1 and parking free. For more information, call 201-THE-BIG-M or check out our website, thebigm.com. Make the Meadowlands Racetrack part of your plan for great weekend entertainment. What are you going to do tonight? Come on out to the Meadowlands Racetrack. Come on out to the Big M.
Back here in Voorhees, New Jersey, your final, Eastern 61, Shawnee 41, in a game that was, well, just as wild as the score indicates. Standing by with the winning head coach is Jared Bunch. Jared.
Standing here with Coach Ginsberg, and we talked earlier about the defense of both teams, but when you play like this, who cares? It's an entertaining game, don't you think?
Well, it's entertaining to watch, I guess. It's not entertaining to coach. You know, it is when it's over. You know, 61 points against this team, I never thought that we'd be able to do that. We were hoping to play a lot better defense than that.
What it seemed like at halftime, did you have, what adjustments did you make to come out and put so many points up in the second half?
Well, you know, they were giving us the fullback, and we just said we were going to take the fullback, and we decided to get physical. We told them we'd get physical with them. We thought we were handling up close. The first half, you know, they beat us on one long play and a block kick. You know, we didn't really feel bad about that. But, you know, the second, we knew we could move the ball. We know we can score. We just have to play a little better defense, that's all.
Speaking of moving the ball, you had 2 running backs over 100 yards, 1 over 200, 1 over 150, and then your fullback went for 98. It must be happy, or you must feel good about having an offensive line that blocks as well as they do for offensive backs who never go down with the first person who hits them.
We're very fortunate. We've got an outstanding group of backs. They're all seniors. They work very hard. The line, we can't give them enough credit. I mean, they did a great job. And, you know, most of them are going both ways, so they're a little tired chasing the kid, you know, chasing passer and everything. But, you know, I can't say enough about the kids. They did a great job.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the game. Congratulations on your season. Look forward to seeing you in the playoffs. And
okay, thank you very much.
Now we're going to toss over to Mick with some of those big-time players.
Oh, big-time players. That's not the word for it. Omar Miles joins me. 153 yards tonight, 3 touchdowns. And Omar, I don't know which run you want to pick out of the 3. You had 2 long ones of 50-plus tonight.
Yeah, well, the line basically executed real well. They stuck to their assignments. Adam blocked well. The quarterback, Darryl Scott, he made great fakes, and that's the way we got it done.
Well, let's take a look maybe at a couple of your touchdown runs here tonight. I'll tell you, you had one early on that went for about 50 yards and just kind of hit the hole and went straight forward.
Yes, I was trying to, like, move out of the way of the defenders. Then I saw the hole to the right, and I just took it.
Now, surprised that you were able to run inside so much tonight. We heard you guys had a lot of speed, but I was expecting you guys to maybe get out on the corner, and you just kind of went right up the middle.
Yeah, because they was mostly playing the option. They thought we was going to run the option a lot, so they stayed outside a lot. That left their middle wide open.
Showed good balance on this one as well.
Yes.
Surprised, though, that you had 61 total points in a game like this?
Very, very surprised.
Well, when all said and done, 153-yard effort, not bad for a guy who was not listed as a starter tonight. Great job, Omar.
Thanks a lot.
Also, Adam Talaferro is going to join us. And Adam, you ran for 3 touchdowns tonight as well. Surprised, though, that this game kind of was 48-40 at one point?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they came out. We knew it was going to be a tough game. They just came out and played hard, and thankfully, there wasn't much defense tonight, but thankfully we scored more tonight.
Well, let's take a look at some of your touchdown runs as well. I know that we said that you had 3 touchdown runs tonight, and all with a short variety, but you had a nice long run to set a couple of them up.
Yeah, they were just buckling down on the Shawnee. They just had it stacked up on my side every time, and Omar, he came off nice tonight. He put in work, and this is a breakout game.
Now, this was the one that got you down on a 47-yard run to the goal line, and then just about a play or so later, you were able to punch it in. Good running goal line situation. You like it down there?
Yeah, I mean, the line does a great job down there. They give it their all down there, and they just make the holes for me, and I just run through them.
Also, with all the competition you have, surprised that at this point, 7-0 undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting every team's best so far, and we just hopefully keep it going. We're going to play a great team next week with Overbrook, and just going to try to keep it going.
And on a personal note, going to Penn State, and yet as a D-back, how come?
Yeah, I mean, that's hopefully going to be my spot in college. That's going to be the spot that I guess best suits me, because I'm not the biggest guy, and just hopefully I can make it there.
Well, congratulations, Adam Talaferro, on a great job tonight and a great victory.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, some of his friends whooping it up behind us a little bit, Jared, and why not? I'll tell you, they ran for over 500 total yards tonight.
500 total yards and 3 backs close to 100. A fullback, who I love to see, rushed for 98 yards and 2 players for over 150 yards, 1 for 200. It was because of that powerful offensive line and these backs who broke the first tackle every single time they ran the ball.
Let's take a look at some of the final stats as we had tonight. And like we said, stats abound in this one. Look at the yards rushing. 509 rushing yards. There you go. The total yards tonight, 584 to 356. And 2 turnovers tonight proved pretty costly, though, for Shawnee.
Those turnovers will come back and haunt you every single time, but these guys played so tough, you know, and so well, and they're disciplined. They've already won 7 games this year. That's more than they won the entire year last year, so they really think that they're just at the beginning of what they can do for this year.
Well, For Jared Bunch, I'm Mick Mottingoff, the entire staff. A great one tonight, 61-41. And before we go, hey, what do you guys think about Overbrook next week? I could have figured. Like I said, for Jared Bunch and the entire crew, I'm Mick Mottingoff. Good night, everybody.
Let's take a trip back to a time when memories and music were made to last.